Okay, it is Monday the 27th of July. Some just B-roll footage here of May River boat ramp, oyster factory. It's out earlier today on May River. I've been, not May River, on Mackay Creek, Mackey Creek. Spending quite a bit of time over there with charter captain for off duty, Richard Martinez. I think he goes by Rich. Nice guy, knowledgeable, fair, good pricing. I'm told. But he has a lot of expertise that I'm trying to gain, and he's willing to share it with me. So that's been a real blessing to me. Haven't really had the urge to put anything up on video. Let me turn this thing around. Haven't really had a overwhelming urge to do any videos because it's such a process of learning and figuring out how to do things that you know, a lot of times the learning interferes with the being able to catch fish. I know that doesn't make sense in a strict A plus B equals C, or 1 plus 1 is 2 type of makes sense. But when you become focused and focused and focused on trying to learn, and there's so much that I have to learn, that I need to learn, that I want to learn, that I am learning, that I haven't wanted to put a lot of videos of scenery up on YouTube, of just scenery, you know. But I also didn't want to put on there continually getting skunked. This is a Victory cigar, by the way. Today I learned, self-taught, variety of sources, but so I guess I was taught by a variety of sources, but I've taken pieces of each one of them and taught myself how to throw a cast net. Now, some of you might say, big deal. Well, it is kind of a big deal. If a man can throw a cast net in this area, you don't have to spend money on bait. You can go out and catch bait, cast net it. That opens up a whole new game, a whole new way of fishing. No longer is it just cut bait and frozen, and then it's, you know, marginal. It's probably not as appealing to the predator toothy fishes that I'm going after, the redfish. That's not really a toothy fish, but trout. That's okay. So really the only one that's a toothy fish is a flounder. But the biggest ones that I would go after are the trout, the flounder, and redfish, drum, black drum. So, and maybe sheephead. They've got a face full of sheep or teeth. But anyways, the fish that I'm going after, that I just named, all go after the bait that I can readily now catch for myself. At first it was like a one-off kind of a deal where I only was able to throw it and open it one time. But today I was able to just stand up on the kayak, pin it down, and toss that sucker out and I was able to get 30 or 40 little fish, minnow, bait fish, whatever they are, and was using those to fish with. And now, if I want to live fish, live bait fish, I can just hook them either through the nose or through the tail, above the anal fin, whatever, and go after fish with live bait versus cut bait that when it thaws it's just kind of mushad. So that being said, I didn't want to have that presentation as part of my video series. Call it pride, call it ego, I don't know. I just didn't feel like putting myself through the mental mess of having comments and crap made while I'm learning how to do something, that you need step A before you can do step B and step C and step D. Sometimes you can jump to E, F, G, but sometimes you need to go back and just go to school. So I determined that I would go back to school. I would learn how to do these things. I would teach myself how to do things, or have someone teach me, pick their brains, have them show me how to do things that I have no idea how to do, that I feel are important to me. I don't know if you can see that, but that's really kind of cool. American flag out there on the dot. So some of the other things that I've been doing is throwing a lot of soft plastics, learning where to throw them, how to throw them, boning up on my knots. Now I do know how to tie an FG, and I do know how to tie an Albright, and tell you the truth, I'm just completely satisfied with a double uni. So reevaluating the way that my reels and rods are set up. I'm learning that 90% of the fish are in 10% of the water, and what I've been doing without knowing any better is I've been focusing on the 90% of water that I don't think has had a fish since Jesus created them, or God created them, and or he multiplied and fed the multitude. So it became kind of, I just didn't want to hear it. Skunked again? Yeah, skunked again. But I didn't quit. Skunked again? Yeah, skunked again. But I didn't quit. I'm also learning to use mapping programs, and like Google Earth, just regular maps, Street View maps, whatever, and go out and look at the places where I'm going to go, and go after with a plan, with a target fish, with a plan of attack, what I'm going to do, what I'm going to go after, where I'm going to go after. If that fails, what's plan B? If that fails, what's plan C? And instead of just whatever bites, go out there and target redfish, or go out there and target flounder. Some of the things that I'm learning is like, I've had to learn is spooling a reel with line. Never did it. So I've done all of that. Had to teach myself how to do that and make sure it's done properly. Braid, which braid? What type of braid? What weight? What kind of top shot of monofilament or fluorocarbon, and why would I use one over the other? And tradition says that you use a 2 or 3 times heavier top shot of mono or fluorocarbon compared to your braid, and I have been using a 10-pound fluorocarbon with a 10-pound braid, and I've been with a double uni, not tying them together, and have been perfectly happy with it. Learning that Fluorocarbons, the big benefit about that is that it's a little bit more abrasion resistant, and it doesn't transmit light down its length the way monofilament does. And it's not as easy to see as straight braid. Using popping corks, the proper way of using a popping cork, the time to use a popping cork, the types that are there, the types that I want to use. You know, there's the ones with a cup on the top. There's just an oval egg shape. The color doesn't really matter, but I'm finding that the metal beads on it have a lot to do with the ability of it to simulate a fish striking, you know, bait at the water surface. The proper use of Procure, yeah, Procure, and the different scents and what they're specifically made for, and what type of a target fish, and does it matter? And you know, there's just a lot of things. Then on top of that, I had learned how to kayak. I'd never kayaked before. As a matter of fact, I'd never set foot in the last time I was on an ocean or a water vehicle of any type was in California, going offshore for tuna fishing, and was sick as a dog for 3 days during the whole thing, except for the 2 times that I went that I'd taken the motion sickness stuff. There's that. Learning how to handle a kayak, handling a paddle kayak, how to navigate which one of these waterways, how to get it in and out of the water, how to get it in and out of the water when everybody and their brother, the boat owners, are being douchebags because you're just a stupid kayaker, you don't have any rights, and being willing and able to stand up for myself, tell them to stick it in their backside, because I have just as many rights to use that boat ramp as they do. And to take just as much time as they take getting their junk off and on the water, you know, and and laughing to myself, you know, I've got now maybe 10 grand total in all my fishing stuff, including the new kayak and the trailer and fish finder and all that stuff. Oh, learning how to set up the fish finder. Come to find out, I hadn't had it set up properly, and there are some specific things that you need to do and know how to do and know what you're seeing so that you can even use it. And is it even as useful as people think it is out here in salt marsh when it's real low water for finding fish, or is it more useful for just not running into oyster bars and beating the crap out of your Mirage drive, your 180 drive, and doing damage to it? You know, that's a $900 item to just be running it into oyster bars. The transducer, I didn't really want to rip that off the bottom of my kayak. I didn't really want to gouge the crap out of my new Hobie. Then the transition from a 13-foot boat to a 14-foot pedal drive is completely different. The things that you can do, but at the same time, it's not as responsive as my Predator, because I could rotate it on its axis pretty easily. You can do that with the Predator, but there's some things that you have to do that it doesn't make sense. Once you know what to do, it makes sense, but when you're learning how to do it, it just doesn't make sense. It's like totally polar opposite of what you would think would need to be done. So all that to say is that I hadn't really wanted to put myself out there while I was learning, and take all the crap that I'm sure would be handed to me, and for good reason, and have pretty much shied away from doing any YouTube videos whatsoever. I think the last one is when I did the deck, the marine mat on my boat and my kayak. That was the last one I think I did. I don't even know if I posted that one on Facebook. I think it just went straight on or onto YouTube. I think it just went to Facebook. I'm not sure. I'll look. But anyways, I went and every day I would go out. I'd bring the GoPro with me, and a lot of times I was wearing my beachcomber hat. You know, the big wide brim hat, straw hat, to protect myself because it's been in the hundreds out here in the water, and not wanting to get completely fricasseed. So I was wearing that, and there's no real way to put the headpiece on easily, or as cool as, you know, I think I need to look, which I've yet to achieve ever. So all that to say, I've reached a level of competency where I'm not so much, just feel like I'm behind the 8 ball on every single aspect of this. Now you think about it, it's the maintenance, it's the usage, it's the how to properly apply each one of the different types of baits and where, and in what location, and in what weather conditions. A lot of times when I'd come out here and get skunked, it was the fish weren't biting. It wasn't that time. So there was a lot of things that were happening that I didn't even know were happening, and the only smart thing that I did is I didn't quit. Okay, so if there's anything that I would share with you is, if you want to learn something bad enough and you know that you're just completely awkward and backward and you don't know what the heck you're doing, learn, ask questions, and become proficient, and be willing to help somebody else as they are on their journey of learning this particular sport. So all that to say, seriously, Nick is smoking a celebratory cigar because of the cast net, and believe me, the Hobie Pro Angler 14 is a very stable boat. That thing is a kick in the pants. As a matter of fact, it's kind of annoying when boats go by me and don't wake me anymore. It's actually kind of cool. It's like a roller coaster ride. An e-ticket at Disneyland. That should have dated me right there. To get out there in the water and have boats go by you and big wakes, and you're just like going right over the top of them. It's no big deal. It's kind of cool. My Predator, it was an issue. So all that's is said to let you know I'm back. I am alive. I am kicking, and as I'm a little bit more comfortable with this whole thing, I'll try to set up some different viewing angles and some different there's something cool right up there. Now I don't know if you can zoom in, if you have the ability. I don't know how I could do it with this thing, because again, I have to learn this and video editing software and how to frame and do videos. But right up there by the flagpole, by the bottom of the pole, are dolphins out there. Now, one of the things that I was taught or told is that as soon as you see dolphins, you might as well just go ahead and yank it in because it's over with. Well, turns out that's not true. What is actually more true is the big fish are more than likely going to go to the shallow because they know that they're big enough that the predatory birds can't really affect them, so they're not so wary for their safety from above. It's getting shallow so that these dolphins can't get to them. So I thought they just blew out of the area. No, they go shallow, and I didn't know that, and it was quite the thing to learn. A couple of other things that I've learned is the sharks. A lot of sharks in this area, a lot of bonnet heads. So I've caught, I can't even tell you how many sharks I've caught. And when you tell people that you're catching sharks on a kayak, they look at you like you're retarded, so I just don't share that too often. So anyways, signing out. I appreciate your patience. If you stuck it through this whole thing, man, you're a trooper, and I do appreciate it. Thanks. Bye. See if I can turn this off.